Well, hello, everyone. It is Mr. Sunshine, Rolls-Royce Technician Eddie, coming to you live right here, right now in cloudy, rainy South Florida. And what we're going to be doing here today is we're going to go ahead and put one of the dozen spheres back together. As a matter of fact, you can see the sphere right here. This is it right here. We have it all disassembled. It is all cleaned up inside out. You can take a look at that. Beautifully done. All polished up, looking as only it can look. Here's the other side of that sphere. You can see it's cleaned all the way through. Greg Hudson, good morning, or I don't know if it's good morning or good afternoon at this particular point in time. And here's the ring. This is the ring that locks it all down. So what we did was we got them in. We actually degreased them. We went ahead and split it open. We removed all of the old parts and the everything else. There was no nitrogen. Normally it's filled with 1,200 psi of nitrogen. It was actually all the gas was leaked out. This is actually the rubber diaphragm that fits inside here. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you exactly what this looks like as we put it back together. This has been glass beaded and then polished. This is how I send them out. I've done hundreds of them already around the country and around the world. There's 2 of these per vehicle. So what I did, you can see that. Look how nice and clean that is. The way Rolls-Royce would have wanted it to go back into their automobile. So what we're going to do right now is this would be the charging port. This is where you screw this on and you put 1,200 psi of pressure in there. So what we're going to do, this is the valve. This is the little valve right here. We got to put the O-ring on there. There's a little O-ring that fits on there just like that. And then we slide that down into there. You can see that, how it seals up right now. So phones are ringing nonstop as usual. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put the spring in here. There's the spring. And then we have the retainer. So you see the spring goes in there. And then we have a retainer here that's going to sit in there as well. I should have this in a vise so it's a little more thick. Now you got to have a special set of True Arcs. These are some very small, made by Imperial. You can see these very small, minute little teeth on here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our C-clip or our True Arc right here on this as well, just like that. Make sure you don't lose it. We're then going to put you got to push this down in there, so we're going to make sure it's straight. It's a little hard because it's not on, again, it's not on a vise. All right, we're going to push that down in there as such, and then we're going to go ahead and put this right in there as such. Now, with that in there, we make sure that that's pushed in. It's got to be into the groove, and as it is right there, there it is. Just like that. Now, we're going to make sure, as I do not want that thing popping out of there in any way, shape, or form, as we push that in, just like that. Hi, dear.
Do you have a pair of pliers I can use?
Yeah, hold on. Will these work?
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
So there it is. We get... Pardon? Yeah, take your time. Go ahead. Everybody coming in, borrowing everything else. Okay, so there it is. Now you got that up there. You see that down there? It is down in there. It is locked in. If you don't have that in and you go to put 1,200 psi of pressure in, it's going to blow that right out of there, and then you're going to have a big problem. Okay, so the valve is now done. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this. This is the half of it. We're going to go ahead and put this rubber right on there like that. It seals it up right down. It's custom made. You push that right down in there. Make sure you get a nice seal on that. You can see how we cleaned this all the way around. So when that sits on there, it's going to seal it up very well. All right, so now, before you put this together, you see this? This is actually going to sit on here like this. You see this? You see how that ball is sticking up? Well, when we put this on, and cramp it down, when we put that 1200 psi, it's going to blow this through, and it's going to blow this down into the bottom. So now you're going to have a sphere with over 1,000 psi. It's going to be like closer to 1,200 psi of pressure of nitrogen blowing that down. So this is going to go on there like this. Now, this is very important. Pay attention right now. What we have here, you want to put a little bit of anti-seize lubricant. I can't stress this enough, because if you go ahead and stick this on, let years down. Now, some of these last 40 years, we have from 1967, you have 53 years. Eventually, the diaphragm wears out, or the gas leaks out, and then you're going to have this redone. Well, once that's galled and on there, it's going to be another job to get that thing back off there. You got to have a special tool that clamps down and screws it out. So you're going to put anti-seize all the way around these. Take a look how beautiful that is, huh? There you go. And then once you put that anti-seize, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put this ring down. Now, it's very important. You screw that down just like that. This is how Rolls-Royce does things. A lot of people, they go, oh my God, the braking system. Yeah, it's complex, but once you know somebody that can do it. Now, we have that in. If we went ahead, put this in the fixture and twisted it, you're going to twist this, and it's going to smear. It's going to call smearing the diaphragm that's inside. It's going to slide. You don't want that thing to slide, so there's a tool that goes across here that holds it like this and at the bottom, so that when you're twisting, you're just going to tighten the ring without this moving. If you move this, the ring is going to slide underneath. You're going to rip it, and then when you go to fill it, you're going to fuck it all up, because now it's not going to seal. So once you have this down, you crank this down, it's going to get tightened down to 300 pounds per square inch. I have a huge snap-on torque wrench. It'll actually go up to 600 psi, but for these, you're going to tighten them down to 300 psi. Once you have that done, you're going to go ahead. You got a little ring, a little O-ring that fits in here. Then you have the little ball bearing. There's a little white nylon bearing. Now, this little white bearing is going to sit right there. All right. Now, once you take your cap, you're going to put the ring. There's an O-ring that goes in here. That actually sits right on top like that. When you go to screw this down, you're going to actually, the inside of this is going to smash that ball down into that hole. So now you're not only going to have the valve from the inside that's going to seal that 1200 psi gas, you're going to have this nylon ball that's going to get smashed down into that hole as a secondary sealer, so that it's not going to leak at all, okay? So now, once you have that in, you go ahead and you're going to screw this down. You're going to screw it down all the way down like that. Crank it. The rubber rings are going to collapse. The ball bearing's going to smash down inside, and then you have a complete sphere. On this side here, you put this on. That ring goes down in there. We're not going to put that in because I still have to put a little lube on this before the screw the valve. There's a valve that goes on here, so we're going to screw tight. Now thank you, darling. That valve is going to be tightened up, hand tight. You don't want to jam it on there, because then you're going to have a hell of a time later on down the line trying to get it off. So a good turn and one extra bump should lock that down. It'll seal with this O-ring, and then all your R363 brake fluid will be able to circulate to the bottom of this. When the engine shuts off or it dies while you're driving down the road, the 1200 psi of pressure on here will give you enough braking system on your brake pedal in order to stop the car. If you have no gas in this, no nitrogen, then your engine shuts off and you're going to keep riding, because there's going to be no brake pedal to actually stop your vehicle. So there it is, a Rolls-Royce. I got a dozen of these I've got to put together here this week, along with some brake valves and some brake pumps. So we're going to be doing a little tutorial on this. If you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, you can watch the videos more in detail, pictures and stuff like that as well. So there it is, Mr. Sunshine, Rolls-Royce technician Eddy, with yet another brake accumulator. We're going to do a dozen of them this week and get these back shipped out around the country and around the world. Pick up that phone at 561-693-8636. Mr. Sunshine, Rolls-Royce technician, coming to you live in a cloudy South Florida. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.